And this is actually a movie now, and it hasn't come out in Australia yet, unfortunately. It doesn't come out till the middle of this month, like the 13th. Oh wait, that's actually really soon. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be filming another book recommendations video, and the trope for today is kind of specific. So it is when the guy falls first. This is one of my favorite tropes. I love it. I just think it's so sweet, and someone actually requested this, so I thought that I would film it because it is a really good trope. So I have a bunch of book recommendations for you today. I have ones hopefully that you haven't heard of, but at the end I'm going to do a couple that most of you have already read, but I'm going to mention them anyway because they still are perfect for this video, but I'm just going to mention them briefly. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get into this video. So the first book that I'm going to be recommending to you guys today is Real Players Never Lose by Michaela Smeltzer. I feel like I always butcher her name, but oh well. So this book is about Teddy and Vanessa, and I absolutely love this book. It's so good. It's fake dating as well. So Teddy needs a fake girlfriend to keep his parents like happy. He has a really bad reputation at the school. He's a player, he, you know, sleeps around, but in order for him to have his trust fund, I think it is, he needs to have a girlfriend. And so he literally runs into Vanessa, and she is really struggling money-wise. She can't pay for her tuition at the school, and they're gonna kick her out if she doesn't like give the money in soon. And Teddy's like, hey, like, I'll help you if you help me, so I will pay for your tuition if you fake date me to help me out. And Vanessa's super confused at first because she's like, you could have any girl on campus and you want me to help you out, like why would you want me? I'm not popular, like nothing like that. And she's super confused, and Teddy's like, I don't know, I just have a good feeling. And so they start fake dating, and of course Teddy is gonna fall so hard for her, and it's literally the cutest thing. I'm obsessed. It's so good, and it definitely works perfectly for this trope. The next book that I have is another book in this kind of series by Michaela Smeltzer. It's called like the Boys series, and this is the most recent one, and that's Good Guys Don't Lie. I absolutely loved this book. I read it recently and it's so good. So this one follows Cree and Ophelia. They meet at this party, and I don't remember if they sleep together or they just kiss, but stuff happens between them, and then they never see each other again. But Cree is was really into her. They connected on like a really like deep level that night, despite it like being like a super like one time like quick encounter. So they like have like really deep chats that night, and Cree is kind of like not like obsessed with her, but like he just has like a really like good feeling, and like he wants to, you know, find her again. But he literally like has not run into her on campus at all, and he's super confused, but he's like always on the lookout for this girl. And then Ophelia needs a tutor. She is failing her class, and her professor sets her up with this tutor, and that happens to be Cree. And Cree is like, oh my god, like you're that girl, like I've been looking for you. And Ophelia is super confused. She does not remember anything that happened. She's like, oh, like you've got the wrong girl, like, but like in her head, but she's like, okay, I'm just gonna go along with it. She goes along with it, and he tutors her, and then, you know, he's like falling for her, and of course he falls first. And this book is so good. Cree is such a sweetheart. He's like this good guy, but yeah, he's super like awkward, and he has like really bad social anxiety. But then the spice in this book, what the heck, I was not expecting that. Cree shook me, oh my goodness, but it's so good. There's this one specific scene that was everything, and like it's just such a good book, and definitely works so well for this trope. Next book is The Hardest Fall by Ella Mays. This one is one of my favorite books of all time. It's so good. It's friends to lovers. This follows Dylan and Sophie, and basically they meet in this super awkward way. So Zoe gets dared to go up to Dylan, who's like one of the most popular guys on campus. He's like he's a football player, I believe. And so she walks into the bathroom, but she doesn't know it's the bathroom. And she walks in there and Dylan is peeing, and she's like, oh my god, like I'm so sorry, blah 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 blah. And she tries to like leave and he's like, no, like wait. And then like, what did you want? My friend's like, dared me to kiss you, blah blah blah. And he's like, sorry, like I have a girlfriend. And then she's like, oh my god, like this is awkward anyway. And she just like runs away, but he's like super intrigued by her and he's super confused. And then they end up running in to each other on campus, I think a year later. And Zoe actually has a boyfriend at the time, and so it's like another like kind of awkward encounter. And then anyway, you fast forward another year later and he actually, there's drama with his football team, with him and one of the other guys on his football team, and so he can't stay in the house or something, and so his coach offers him this apartment. He has his room and there is a spare bedroom in this apartment, and so he moves in there. Zoe has no idea that he's moving in, and they meet in another super awkward way, and Dylan's like, oh my god, like you're like Zoe. It's like freaking hilarious. And so they become really really good friends, but Dylan's like super into her, and Zoe's like into him but doesn't think that he like would really want her, and it's just so good. It's definitely a slow burn, but it's like so good, and he definitely falls hard for her first. Next book that I'm going to be recommending to you guys today is The Third Best Thing by Maya Hughes. This is actually the third book in a series, and while I would recommend that you read them in order, you can definitely read them as a standalone because they are technically all standalones, but you just get the characters and the friendships and everything so much better if you do read them in order. But this one is my favorite, and it follows Berkeley and Jules, and it's so good. Jules and Berkeley live next door to each other, and they've never really been like friends, but they're more like acquaintances. But Jules really likes Berkeley, and so she decides that she's gonna write this letter to him, and she's completely drunk when she writes this letter, and she puts it in his mailbox, and he ends up writing back. She does not think that he is going to write back, and they start this little like pen pal relationship, but he doesn't know that it's Jules. And because they're kind of like, they know each other because Jules's best friend is dating one of Berkeley's best friends, and then Jules completely stops writing, and Berkeley is like so confused. He's so upset, like because he really enjoyed talking to this girl, and he ends up asking Jules to help him find his secret admirer, aka Letter Girl. And obviously he has no idea that it's Jules, and Jules agrees. She's super shy, super like awkward, and she's like, yeah, no, like I'll help you. So she is helping Berkeley find this Letter Girl, all while it's actually her, but Berkeley has no idea, and Berkeley ends up actually starting to fall for Jules, and like he's like kind of like conflicted because he's like trying to find this Letter Girl, but he's falling for this other girl and he doesn't know that they're the same girl. And it's just so good. This was definitely my favorite of the series, and I'm literally obsessed with Berkeley. I love him so much. He's literally everything, and they're so freaking cute together. So this one is definitely a great book for this trope. The next book is Confess by Colleen Hoover. This is such an amazing book. Obviously you guys know I love Coho. She's my favorite author, and Confess is another exceptional book. This is about Owen and Auburn, and Auburn has this really tragic past, and so she ends up moving to, does she move to a different state, or do I think, and she is in desperate need of a job, and so she walks past this art gallery, and they have a help wanted sign in the window, and that is Owen's art gallery, and it is called Confess. And he is like, yes, like you're hired, even though like he doesn't interview her or anything, and he's like, you're hired, yes, I need someone to work this event tonight because my assistant or something just quit. And so Auburn is super confused. She's like, oh okay, like I've already got the job, cool. And they have this amazing connection right off the bat, and Owen is like super into her. And Confess, his art studio, is such a cool concept. So he basically makes artwork out of people's confessions. So people anonymously submit confessions and then he makes them into artwork, and the book actually has some of the artwork in the middle, and I love that. In true Colleen Hoover fashion, there is a lot of plot twists. There's a big plot twist, and this book is also super sad, of course, but it's so good, and Owen definitely falls first for Auburn. The next book that I'm going to be recommending to you guys today is Redeemed by Lauren Asher. This is the 4th book in the Dirty Air series and probably my favorite out of the series, and this one is about Santiago and Chloe, and it's so freaking good. I love it so much. So basically Chloe ends up kind of breaking into Santiago's house and they end up hating each other, but Santiago is going through a lot. Something really bad happened to him and he is unable to race anymore because he's an F1 racer, and that was like his life. He loved it, but because of this accident he's kind of gone into like hiding, and he's like really depressed and he's not living his best life. And then Chloe comes along and he thinks that she's like this stalker fan trying to break into his house, and that's not it at all. Chloe's just trying to find her dad, and so that's the whole reason that she's in Italy. She's trying to look for her dad because she's never met him before. He lives next door to Santiago, I believe. They do not like each other, but I think Santiago's family is over, like his sister and his sister's boyfriend, who were from the first book, and he decides to tell them that Chloe is his girlfriend. So this is fake dating, and they start fake dating. Chloe's like super hesitant at first. She's like I don't want to fake date you, like you're a dick. And so yeah, they end up fake dating, and Santiago is such a sweetheart and they open up to each other, and it's so cute, and he definitely falls first for her, and I'm literally obsessed. This was definitely my favorite, and I just love Santi. He's literally the cutest. And then we have another Colleen Hoover book, November 9. I love this book. It's so good, and it's such like a cool concept for a book. So basically you only get to see this book, I feel like everyone's read this, but you only get to see this book from the 9th of November. So every single year Ben and Fallon meet on the 9th of November, and you only get to read the book. Like the book is only told in each of their perspectives on each November 9 throughout, I think there's 5 or 6 years. But in true Colleen Hoover fashion, it's not that simple. Like there's crazy plot twists. This book is heartbreaking. Oh my goodness. So this follows Ben and Fallon was in this really tragic accident when she was younger, and she was in a fire and she has burns all over one side of her body, and she was an actress, and so her acting career is kind of over. Like she got dropped from the show that she was on, and she's having dinner with, or lunch or something, with her dad, and her dad is an actor and he is awful to her, and Ben ends up coming over and like saving her, pretending to be her boyfriend, and like saving her from this terrible situation that she's in. And then like they end up spending the whole day together, but Fallon is actually leaving for New York on that day, so they can't, you know, start anything with each other. But Ben is an author and he decides that he's going to write a book about them, but it can't be like boring or basic. Like it needs to be something different and exciting because he's like an aspiring author. He's never written a romance before, and he decides that they're only going to meet every single day from on the 9th of November. Throughout the whole year they're never going to have any contact, or they're not allowed to like look at each other's social media or talk to each other or anything like that, and they're free to do whatever they want and be with whoever they want. But on the 9th of November they're together, they're dating, and they do this for 5 years because Fallon, her mum like said to her like you shouldn't like be in any serious relationships until you're like this certain age or something, and whatever. So they meet every November 9th, but obviously it's not going to be that easy, it's not going to be that simple in true Colleen Hoover fashion, and so many different things happen and go wrong, and it's so good, so heartbreaking. I love Ben so much. He's like so in love with Fallon. It's adorable. I'm literally obsessed with this book. The last 3 books that I'm going to mention, I'm just going to quickly mention them because I feel like literally everyone's read them, but they all definitely work for this trope, and the boy definitely falls first. So The Spanish Love Deception, you guys know, Aaron Blackford, my #1. I'm obsessed. Well, I wouldn't say my #1 because like him and Archer Hale are like right up there together, but this book is so good, and Aaron is like so in love with Catalina, and I'm obsessed. So this is fake dating, and it's set in Spain for majority of the book, and it's just so good, and I feel like literally everyone has read this. And then we have The Hating Game by Sally Thorne, of course. Joshua Templeman, we all know he was so in love with Lucy, and this is actually a movie now, and it hasn't come out in Australia yet, unfortunately. It doesn't come out till the middle of this month, like the 13th. Oh wait, that's actually really soon. Oh my god, I'm so excited. I really enjoy this book. It's so good and perfect for this trope. And we have The Deal by Al Kennedy. Literally everyone has read this book. I read this book twice last year, and I've read this book like a million times. It's one of my favorites. It is not my favorite out of the series. Controversial, I know, but I love Logan, and yeah. But Garrett Graham, we love him. We all love Garrett Graham. He's amazing. And if you haven't read this book, read it. Read the whole series. It's phenomenal. But he definitely falls first for Hannah. It's fake dating, friends to lovers, hockey romance. Literally stunning. And that is all the books that I have to recommend to you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you have any more recommendations for this trope, definitely let me know because I love reading it. Like, leave them in the comments, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.